What's up, PLL fans?
Hi.
Team Endgame here with video 3 of Pretty Little Liars, the Perfectionist Perfect 10, where we recap each episode in 10 minutes or less. My name is Gavin.
I'm Kate.
And we are coming at you with our thoughts, questions, and predictions on episode 3. So here we go.
All right, so we are still intrigued. So first, starting with thoughts, we are reading from our notes as well. We are still intrigued. We're excited to see the show kind of kicking into higher gear. There's more happening. There's a little bit more mystery. There are more characters now. And it's really cool to see the action and suspense ramping up a bit.
Yep.
So
it's also been great to see the Perfectionists, Caitlin, Ava, and Dylan become closer friends and bond like we hoped and suspected they would. Those moments are really sweet and give us a better idea of their personality.
There was a lot of bonding in this last episode too.
It was nice.
It was nice.
And it's also really cool to see Mona and Allie's respective roles in this. And I think because they've kind of been there, done that in its own way.
And how.
Having been through Rosewood, I think each one of them has a determination to kind of take this instance into their own hands. That's kind of how Allie has emerged as a leader of the three perfectionists, if you will.
And she's protecting them. She's not just letting things happen. It's, she knows how it feels. She's taking control, and it's really cool to see that side of her, that protective, nurturing side, because she kind of didn't get to live her own childhood or young years because of the stuff that she was going through. Granted, a lot of that was Mona's fault, but they've clearly buried the hatchet at least a bit, and I agree, it's really cool to see their dynamic and the urgency that they're bringing to stopping the mystery, stopping Booker, not letting the kids be bullied.
Protecting themselves.
And protecting themselves.
Protecting the others. So yeah, good. We were both definitely,
we're loving it.
Definitely in it. So we'll move on to our questions. Of course, who killed Nolan will continue to be the question until we have an answer, so that still hangs overhead.
Absolutely.
We also really want to know, where is Taylor?
Yes. Biggest question, I think, from this last episode.
We had a couple of scenes that took place in her cabin, and yet she was not there.
And her stuff wasn't there. It wasn't just that she wasn't there. That cabin looked abandoned.
Right. And last we saw Taylor, she had an entire command central kind of set up.
She was hacking into beacon guard. She had her stuff ready, and none of that was there.
And as far as we know, we were given the impression from her first episode, or the first episode, that was really the only place she's been residing. So if that's the case, then where is she now? Where is all her stuff? And of course, what made her leave? And we'll touch on that a little bit in predictions, because we have an idea of what might have happened. But of course, it's still an outstanding question for the moment.
Definitely. So another big question that we have from this episode is, what is Caitlin's actual involvement with the Hotchkiss family, and how far back does it go? So we know that Dana Booker, the new BHU head of security, the new Tanner, is obviously very close with Claire, because that's who employs her. And through their conversation, we're finding that, and Claire's conversations with Caitlin, we're finding that their history goes back a lot farther than just Caitlin being at BHU and the Hotchkiss family being there. She mentions donating to Caitlin's mother's presidential campaign. She mentions knowing Caitlin since she was a kid. And then, not in Caitlin's earshot, she mentions something about something not being in Caitlin's DNA.
Like quitting up or relenting is
not
in Caitlin's DNA.
So how does she know
that line,
not in the DNA? That changed for both of us.
Yeah, jumped out as something that there's got to be more to that. And it was the ending note before the theme song too, so it was clearly something that they wanted to resonate with us.
The theme song.
We don't really know, of course, that's why it's part of our questions, but something tells me that we're going to learn more about Caitlin's history, who her parents are. We know that she has two moms, but obviously she has a biological father and mother somewhere. We don't know much about the whole family.
Right. Was she adopted? Was she a product of an insemination? Was one of her moms her birth mom? We don't know. But now
how does that tie into Claire Hotchkiss and her knowing so much about Caitlin's DNA? So that's definitely another big question. Of course, we also want to know, speaking of Booker, why was she specifically hired to be the new head of security? It's just a little coincidental that she was just working with, presumably, the FBI, working on Ava's father's case, and so clearly, on campus, present at BHU, but that's a big change in career.
That's a huge change in career. FBI to head of security at a college?
And of all the people, so what happened there? We know that Claire hasn't been a fan of Ava because of all of her family family drama. Is
Right.
that part of the strategy? Is she hoping that more dirt will be uncovered? I mean, why her?
Yes.
I
It's
can't
too
just...
specific to be a coincidence.
Right.
Especially if Mona has developed some algorithms that, I said that word completely ridiculously, but you know what I mean, has developed algorithms to bring on staffing. So how did Mona accidentally have a hand in that?
Did Mona have a hand in it?
Or was it intentional? Because we know Mona's talking to someone
Or
behind
was it
those
all
cameras.
the Hotchkiss family and their money?
Right.
I mean, we don't know why, but that is why it's a question, is how did that come to be? And then the last big question, I think, is who left the rat in the car? Wicked gross.
Horrible.
Came with a note, was very strategically placed.
It was so classic PLL though.
yeah, it was. But we don't know who, this is the second note we've gotten from a mysterious figure, the other one being where Nolan's stash was kept. Were they written by the same person? Who is writing notes and why? Why is that the medium that they're using? So would definitely love to have some more ideas or insight into why and who sometime soon.
Definitely. And we'd also love to hear any questions that you guys have, so throw them at us.
Yes, absolutely. In terms of predictions, so one thing that, Mason was clearly a big prominent figure in this episode in terms of trying to create some mystery and some, I guess, dubiousness around him in this episode, which, as we know historically from watching PLL, usually means that this person isn't the ultimate big bad, i.e. we're not so sure that means he killed Nolan. I think that'd be too convenient.
Definitely.
But it typically means that this person is shady or involved.
Yes, they have something to hide.
Somehow.
Yes.
And another, I guess, more concrete piece of evidence that makes him suspicious were the gum wrappers found outside of what was Taylor's cabin. Yeah, it's always gum. Now, to me, I'm almost wondering, is this indicative of the fact that maybe Mason didn't kill or hurt anyone, but did he discover Taylor? Was he kind of creeping out to this cabin because he had a feeling something was going on, maybe saw Taylor and maybe threatened her or extorted something from her, and that's why not only is she gone and there's no trace of her, but Mason's kind of walking around with a bit of a chip on his shoulder all of a sudden.
He was so sad at the funeral and offering to give Caitlin an alibi even, and now he was kind of purposely being a jerk in Allie's class. An
instigator,
Yeah, exactly. So I think, these are really, really good questions. Was he maybe mad that Nolan never told him about Taylor?
Right.
Was that part of what he's angry about?
He knows.
But clearly, the place can be found because Allie found it. That's how she showed up. They kind of all showed up there. So did Taylor kind of maybe know something was coming and get out before she got discovered by anyone other than Mason, if it was, in fact, that way around?
Right.
So
our other prediction is that Nolan's phone, if Nolan did text Allie the night that he was murdered, we know that Booker has his phone, and so Booker would have discovered that text. So we already had feelings that Nolan didn't send that text, that it was otherwise manipulated, as we know can happen from the original series, lots of blue snarfing and hacking and things of that nature. But now we feel strongly about that more than ever, knowing that Booker has Nolan's phone.
If he had sent that, if that text was sent by Nolan, or more importantly, from his actual device, she would have a record of that. And she would have already come down on Allie about it. That's right there. That's incriminating her. And Allie knew that. And even Mona, kind of corroborated that text makes her look guilty of being with Nolan at the time he died. So clearly it can't have been sent from his actual device. And I think, I think we've mentioned it before, that what supports that is that when they were at Nolan's funeral, the 3 perfectionists all got a text from Allie that, kind of offered support.
Or whatever.
But we saw the text come in. The text tones went. We saw them all look at their texts. But we were looking at Allie and Mona, and Allie did not have her phone out. She did not seem to be sending those texts.
So is that another part of it? Is that just further corroboration that someone is pulling the strings digitally to make it look like things are happening? So we're winding down near the end of our 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have questions or predictions of your own that you would like to share, you'd like us to discuss, definitely send them our way, teamendgame.tumblr.com. And we can't wait for tonight's episode, and we can't wait to live blog alongside all of you. All right.
See you
Thanks,
tonight, guys.
Bye.